Hello, my friends, and welcome back in. In this episode, I'm joined by the lovely Marja West, where we explore her story of recognizing the control system from a very young age, navigating her awakening process, and eventually developing her own system which she shares with others of healing and deprogramming from mind control. It was a fascinating conversation, and I hope you enjoy. Hello and welcome back, everyone, to the Wizard Factory podcast, where together we explore the universe through ourselves. My name is Logan Hart, and today we are joined by Marja West. If you're new here, please give the video a quick like and subscribe to the channel, and make sure you hit that bell notification so you see all my new content that's going to be coming out. So let's go ahead and get into it. I'd love to, first of all, welcome Marja. Happy to have you.
Hello, darling. How goes it? Happy to be here. Thanks for the invite.
Happy you're here and happy to be back, of course, making new content again. So,
Cool.
Let's get into it. I'd like to start by just allowing you to introduce yourself. So tell the audience, who are you? What are you about? A bit about the work that you do.
Okay. Well, I consider myself to be probably the grandma of One Great Work Network. I think I'm probably the oldest person there. I'm going to be 63 in a couple of months, and I have been at the work of disseminating love, truth, and beauty since I was in my teens in the 70s.
Wow.
So I have seen a lot of slavery shit shows come and go. Mm-hmm. And the latest one that we were all amidst the COVID, the 7-9, that's what I call it, just so, people aren't like, what is she talking about? Because we all know this and we're all sick of it. So I've seen all these crazy things happen. I've had a lot of projections onto me because I'm Eurasian. I was an immigrant. I had to learn how to speak English and all that kind of stuff, that I must be a victim and poor little thing because you're so tiny and precious. And having these really uber leftist professors when I was in college, just like try to shove down my throat that I'm a victim because I'm so small, and on and on and on. And I'm like, yeah, no, I don't believe that. I've never had that experience with white people. I've never had that sort of racist thing. And so, my indoctrination, so to speak, going down that rabbit hole of like having faced Marxist leftist ideology from the time I was super young, I just went, you know what? Fuck this. I don't believe in it. And at that point, I'd read The Gulag Archipelago by Solzhenitsyn, and it scared the shit out of me. It's like, oh my God. And that wasn't all that long ago. And these people just feigning victimhood, it just kind of like blew me away. So it made me very wary about group, mine, think, feel, do, speak. So I'm not into being part of a group. I don't like totalitarian shit shows. I don't like left, right, center paradigm. I don't like to be told what to do. And so my background, my upbringing, because I was raised by basically a psychopath, man-hating biatch from hell, made me very acutely aware of abuse. So I've always been a champion for children because I had to champion my own ass growing up. By pretending that I was a fairy, I entered into this imaginary realm with this wide open third eye and my psychic abilities to align with nature, not align with the shit show called my family, which, by the way, I feel like each one of us, we have to deal with our first cult, and that is our family of origin. Right. Because we were all gifted by parents who had consciously conceived us because they completed the great work. We're all fucked from the moment we are conceived, because that's where the programming of the matrix begins, at our conception, with blue booties, pink booties, rainbow booties, whatever, So I have just been really acutely aware of this sort of this bearing down of this domination of this seemingly invisible force, but it wasn't invisible to me because it was very clear when I was a little girl watching my family get upset about what was going on in the boob tube, and with me as a little toddler going around the corner where the electrical outlet was, unplugging the fucking thing. Like, why watch it if you're going to get upset? I don't understand it, And so having that acute awareness and that imagination and the lining up with nature, I was just like, I did not belong in what I call the world or the matrix. And so, and I'm not talking about the movie. I'm just talking about, well, first of all, the world is not the planet. The world is the matrix. Okay. The matrix is a satanic inversion.
It's an overlay. I think of it as
an inversion of the planet and the true quantum field creation field universe. And most people are fucking mesmerized by the matrix. And I saw it very early on that no, my attention is not going to be hijacked. I'm going to be aware in my center screen, and everything that I'm witnessing in that outer screen, I have to be really careful because it's easy with media, and especially this time where we have all this technology to sort of get sucked in to that outer screen. And, if we're getting sucked into the outer screen, there's the acerbic commentary that's going on in our inner screen, in our heads, of our judgments, our criticisms, our worries, our just all of that sort of mind fuckery that goes on, head tripping. All the while, the matrix owns both those attention centers. And so for us to be self-aware, to be awake, okay, not just to the whole thing about Gooberman being slavery, being woke to that's absolutely necessary. But I know so many people that think just because they've discovered that means they're awake. It's bullshit. It's like, no, you have to learn how to unslave yourself. And the only way we learn how to unslave ourselves is by owning our attention. In other words, by owning our attention and waking ourselves up and seeing reality and entering into this center screen, our awakened attention center, so that we can observe the outer screen and be fully cognizant of the shit show that's going on in our heads. Okay, that's what it means. You own all three of those attention centers, and that makes you awake. That's spiritual awakening.
Right.
And it's not a one-off event. Like new age bullshit says, or the new cage, as my friend Derek would say. I mean, it's just so funny, all the stuff, but people fall for this nonsense that spiritual awakening, that once you're woke and you're spiritually awake, your life is going to be perfect and the cellulite on your ass is going to be gone. It's not true. There's too many things in the outer screen of reality. And each one of us is creating our own layer of the universe with the things that are important to us. And hopefully we're focused in on what's important to us. But most people are focused in on what's going on in this outer screen and trying to keep up with that bullshit. And that is mind control. That is total mind control. And then the mind control slips in here because, oh shit, I must be a loser because I don't relate to this. Oh my God. And it just goes on.
Exactly.
So for me, I saw that right away. And I used to try to talk about it with my friends when I was young. And I mean, all my friends, they just wanted to get stoned, drunk, do psychedelics, fuck the brains out, make as much money as possible. And it just was like, I felt alone. I really did. I felt alone. Like, hi, what's going on? And it wasn't until, I guess it was the late 80s or mid 80s that I started having these dreams about this healing modality that was coming through me in these dreams. And at that point, I wasn't very much into like new age bullshit. I did a lot of philosophy. I read books by Neville Goddard. I read Florence Scovel Shinn. I was always very curious about how to wield reality, how to mold reality, not for my selfish reasons. I'm out for the win-win. I want everybody to remember that they're here to move formless into form in their own unique way. Okay. And I don't mean imitating some fucking celebrity that you fucking salivate and adulate. That's not what I'm talking about, because all you're doing is you're giving them your power. There's something else that's much deeper and much more alive that you're here to bring forward. But if you're mesmerized by the outer screen and you're just drowning and you're not even thinking about what's important to you because you're trying to keep up with the mind control, it's not a good thing. And that's what I see. That's what makes me so sad when I'm actually waltzing in and out of the matrix and going about my business, doing the things that I need to do to not only take care of myself, take care of my family, keep up with my health, my well-being, not be part of any of these status shit shows. I mean, it's a full-time job, as you know.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's great. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. So what happened with these dreams is I got downloaded with the step-by-step instructional manual to deactivate trauma and how to be able to do that, and not just waltz in and out of the matrix, but waltz in and out of the matrix virtually undetected, because I'm not pushing up against it and irritating the fuck out of it, which is what most people do when they first start out. You start irritating the matrix, and the matrix starts, scheduling some downfalls for you, which I've been, I've survived all those things. And you learn to readjust. You learn how to tweak things. You learn how to not do certain things because, number one, it's not going to end well. And, it's not about going to war with yourself or other people. It's really about extricating yourself from the matrix and focusing in on what you want to create. And often that means in order to create what you want, you do have to extricate yourself from a lot of mind control, from a lot of slavery shit stems. And you have to, and it's a commitment. You can't half-ass it. You can't have one foot in here and the other foot in here. And, oh, that's okay if I indulge in this. It's called moral relativism. You can't do it. It's not going to work. Okay. Because then you're going to be divvying up your consciousness and your awareness and your creative energy in all these different places. And you think you've exited the matrix. No. You're even deeper in the matrix because you're following a script that is meant to not have you integrated at all. It is meant to split you apart in many different places, in many different ways, such that the divide and conquer mind controls of the matrix, and there's so many of them, they win hands down. And it's hard to wake yourself up from that. I mean, I know people who are just, they're totally in it. They're totally in it. And they don't even know that their energy is getting sucked. And they wonder why their health is going south. They wonder why they look like shit and they're still fairly young, and they wonder why their life isn't working because you have too many incongruencies. I believe that the awakened state is heart, mind, body, soul coordination. It is alignment in your feelings and your emotions with your high level thoughts and beliefs, and taking inspired action. And those actions that are actually contributing to either self-murder or soul murder, you just don't fucking do them, and you stand strong in that alignment and that awareness, that heart, mind, body, soul coordination. is the alignment. That is, for me, that's unity consciousness. It's not that we're all going to fucking ascend to, some wherever. When I hear the New Agers talk about that, I mean, I'm pretty sarcastic. I'll just kind of roll my eyes and laugh,
Right. I mean, we're definitely here for a reason. This is where the work is done. This is where we have manifested.
Yes.
And that's what counts, or that's what matters. There's this kind of like turning of the nose towards the material as if it's less spiritual or something like that. And I reject that.
Yeah, I totally reject
The
that.
spiritual and the material are, I mean, it's all the universe is just one thing. There's just different layers to it. So it's all spiritual.
Yes.
That's what we're navigating currently.
Yeah.
So
totally.
That's fascinating. I didn't know that about your backstory. So I'm sure it must have been hard for those professors and people that were trying to project that victimhood onto you.
They did not know what the fuck
It's
to
like,
do.
well, why wouldn't you want to be a victim? That makes you special. That means you get to like rub that in people's faces and make them feel bad and give you special privileges and things like that.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
Exactly.
That
and it
it's
was
like
during the time of I can't even remember what the fuck it's called because I blocked it out. It's like giving somebody a handicap or a head start in order to do some kind of athletic event. It's like, why fucking compete at all, dude?
Right. Why would that feel good even if you win? What does it even mean at that point?
Right. So I got invited to the women's studies program, and they were trying to, I went to a very leftist school, State University in California. Pardon me. I can't help it. I have to do it. I have to do it because
we speak freely here. This is a free speech platform.
Okay. Because I just saw so much bullshit in the political scene, and I'm not political at all. I don't believe in any of that shit. It's like, I'm sorry, you're gonna rule over me? No, I don't think so. It's not happening. So what I witnessed was just a lot of this projection of victim, and let's get the token science geeky girl here, and she's petite, she's probably gotten beaten up or whatever. Yeah, I got beat up by my own mother. Okay, so let's not put white men in here or this systemic racism that I personally never saw it. So I saw more racism within Asian culture, and I'm part Asian. And I saw more of that within that culture. So it's like, so this projection of all this systemic victimization stuff, I didn't relate to it, and am I small? Yes. I have 3 black belts. So you just take charge and you learn how to have dominion over your being.
So you're not worried about the Asian stereotypes or living up to that or anything. You just went for it with the martial arts.
So it was funny you should say that, because I had to navigate that, because as I was growing up, as a young woman, I had a lot of that shit projected on me because I have a certain look that certain men and women, I mean, they're all yaya gaga zaza about that, and it has nothing to do with me. It's like, dude, get the fuck away from me. It's gross, because it has nothing to do with who I am as a person, as a human being, and what I have to offer or any of my gifts. It's some twisted, fucked up, perception managed brainwashing, mind control that men and women do in order to try to hijack my creativity, my sexuality, and twist it around into some fucked up sex shit show. And that's one of the divide and conquer mind control programs in the Matrix, is that we're all born to be sex slaves, and we all have to navigate and excavate ourselves and get conscious about where we sit in that in that mind fuck. Otherwise, we're all in it. And so, I've written a lot about the sex slavery, just in terms of it generally, let alone the systemic trafficking and pedophilia that have gone on for millennia. Most people, oh, well, this is such a new thing. It's never existed before. And I'm just like, oh, man. I mean, I want to punch people. And that's one of the things that I've had to navigate throughout the years as I've gotten older and more mature. Is that, Marja, you don't hit people. you don't start shit. And when I was young, I used to start shit. So I've gotten arrested a few times. I've broken bones on people's faces because I've gotten upset, and this is just my own embodiment of, I think, this unfairness and this rage. I'm all about justice for people who don't have the means, who don't have the power, who don't have the voice, which is why, utilizing my own experience of child abuse and sex abuse has allowed me the verve and the energy to, be a champion for children, be a champion for those who don't have a voice, who are innocent. So, I've had a lot of really good spiritual support, just in terms of, my own inclinations to take responsibility. Oh, I'm small. Well, maybe I need to take martial arts and learn how to take down people who come at me and threaten my person. And so, but I'm also realistic about it because, martial arts can only get you so far. And I'm not a follower of the Hollywood bullshit, where you have these cheap guys in full makeup and long nails and in 5-inch spiked heels, and they're rendering a perfect jump spin kick, landing it on the dude after the dude has punched him in the face. Nothing is fucking blowing up. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing. Right. And one of the things that I had to learn taking martial arts, particularly in Taekwondo and jujitsu, is learning to take a punch, a full contact punch to the face, and feel what it feels like when it starts to blow up, and not lose consciousness about what the hell to do. So I know that if I'm being attacked by some big guy, I have 5 moves that I need to make, and they need to be precise. If they are not executed precisely, I better run the fuck away because he will kill me. And that's just it. Or, hopefully I'm lucky enough to have a sidearm with me when it happens. But, I mean, these are just some of the things that ran through my mind and inspired me to, get your shit together, girl. You got some things to learn. And so martial arts, natural law.
Right. I was going to say,
being able to advocate for myself.
You took care of that physical need to protect yourself physically, but you also have to arm yourself mentally with the proper knowledge and everything. So I'd like to talk about how that experience growing up and going through all that stuff led you to creating your Truth, Love, Beauty. That's what it's called, right?
Truth and Beauty.
Love, Truth, Beauty, right? Beauty. As a platform, as I would assume, sort of an outlet for what you were kind of downloading and experiencing and learning there.
Yeah. So in the mid 80s, after I had this series of dreams, I was working with this amazing, she was a Jungian therapist, but she was also a trauma deactivator. And she knew quite a lot about the energy systems of the body. She knew a lot about the chakra system. She knew a lot about psychic self-defense. So she and I, we had these immense conversations about this download. So she helped me translate it. She helped me put it together. And it was very clear, wow, this is clearly an instruction manual of how to deal with demonic entities that endeavor to take over the body, the human body. And she related this, and I definitely related this, that this was akin to what was going on with humans in the Matrix. Because when we have our energy hijacked, what's clearly happening is that the Matrix is actually inserting its little devices in not only in our chakra system, but in our various organs and tissues. Each of the chakras are governing certain things. And so what started happening is, as soon as we put this together, I started manifesting one client after another, after another, after another. And these were coming from random people where I don't know why, but I'm sending this woman to you. And so the first person that came to me was the daughter of some local politician. I don't remember if he was an assemblyman or a councilman or whatever, but she was having all these memories of, SRA, satanic ritual abuse. And I'd never heard of it before. I mean, the closest thing that I came to was being obsessed with the movie The Exorcist. I was obsessed with that movie. And I was a teenager. I was a young teenager when that movie came out. And there was something intriguing about it, because I realized, why am I so intrigued by this? And little did I know that the dream instruction manual that came through me, that was gifted. It's not my work. It was gifted to me to be the caretaker of it. And I have since shared it with hundreds of people who, want to be trained in how to do this, because this is what we have to do. We have to raise our frequency such that we don't match the fucking demons who are running the Matrix, because that's what it is. You keep a low frequency and you are hijacked. And which is why, the Matrix does so much of this work overtime to control our air, our water, our food, our thoughts, through technology, through illness, whatever you want, they can interface with, they will. And one of the main things is sexuality.
Absolutely.
And so as I started piecing this together, I mean, this young woman that came to me, it was pretty frightening. And so, it's like when you make a decision to show up for something that is being divined to you to bring forth, like, I didn't have a degree in psychology. I, on purpose, did not want to interface with any kind of shitstorm of certification of this or that. I'd had enough of it in the university system, and I thought it was all bullshit anyway. But the thing is that when we're dealing with energy, I mean, who's gonna fucking certify energy? It's like, kiss my butt, okay? I don't really care. And I didn't come from a place where, I better get some kind of like certification or some kind of this or that or whatever in order to feel like I could proceed. I just let the universe and the divine lead me. And when you decide that you are going to receive that download, the universe provides. So there were a chain of events. I mean, it's unbelievable. I could not have thought about how this was going to materialize if I had engineered it myself. I had nothing to do with it. I just showed up. So I showed up for this person, and then this person showed up, and this person, and next thing I knew, I was traveling everywhere. And people were just, and it was funny because people were like, well, do you have a card? I didn't have a business card for this for like 8 years. It's like, it didn't occur to me, oh, I should have a business card. No, it never, ever occurred to me. And so it was like, following this light and step by step by step by step. And, I'm very organized in terms of, as a writer, as a creator. I'm a musician, I'm a dancer, and the martial arts. I have a science background. So it's like, I'm very organized. I know how to organize a body of material, and I know how to organize it in a way where I can disseminate it so that it is clear. And it's not some woo-woo confusing fucking thing, where you're like, what? Like, what? Can we just bring it back down to the planet? I'm very, very grounded in that respect. And I think that is part of the, I think the sort of new age bullshit. I think it's one of those things where it's designed to confuse people about energy. It's designed to confuse people about their divinity, about spiritual awakening, so that the average person can't possibly believe that they are exactly that, divine in the flesh, just like everybody else. And the mind control within the matrix makes sure that people are just dumbed down, that they have forgotten who and what they are, that they can't even imagine. Like I'll ask people questions. Well, what would you love to do? Like if you had the perfect life, what would that look like? What would you be doing? And they're so fucked up here. Their third eye is so damaged beyond repair or just covered up, because in the matrix, there's only 5 senses. When you exit the matrix, we have 7. We have our intuition, okay, our imagination, our intuition, our ability to envision and see all the possibilities. And our 7th sense is that of our generosity and care. It's the masculine principle of gifting, giving, okay, and the feminine principle of receiving. And so it's so simple, but here in the matrix, it's just 5. It's that 5 sensory hell, which is why they poo-poo our psychic abilities. They make sure that our pineal glands are all fucked up and calcified. And I mean, it's all by design to get us to remain enslaved, to get us to give up, to get us to just, suck it up and do all the things that we are not meant to do, because they don't know any other way. They can't see another way. They can't intuit another way. And it's, it's totally sad, really, really sad. So over the years, I've been able to, I received the download. I systematize it. I started sharing it. I started going all over the world, all over the planet. I visited some really horrific things. During the war in Yugoslavia, I visited rape camps, and I was just horrified. And what made it even more horrifying is that for all of the whining that women do and feminists bitching and moaning about the patriarchy and the abuses of men, what I witnessed, these places were run by women.
Interesting.
They were run by women. So, don't give me this shit that, all men bad, because for me, I think the biggest oppressors of humanity are women themselves. And I get a lot of shit for saying that. And I don't minimize the abuses that women have gone through. I don't minimize that at all. But, to have this blanket statement that, men and the patriarchy, well, guess what? The patriarchy and the matriarchy are flip sides of the same fucked up coin that is, just thrown at us. It's a divide and conquer tool of the matrix and the powers that want to be. Make no mistake about it. You can't fall for it. You have to extricate your own masculine and feminine within. And I don't care, people, they're 2 genders. That's it. Get over it. Stop. I can't take those conversations. And it's funny because a lot of women who invite me onto their platforms, or goddess entrepreneurial, the sacred feminine, they think I'm a man-hating feminist. And when they get me on their platforms and the shit that comes out of my mouth, they realize, oh God, she is not one of us. Mm-hmm. Invariably, I'll get kicked off of a call. I have found myself like, wow, I think I just got kicked off.
Well, you're all good here so far. No red flags. It's awesome. Yeah. That's for sure super important, because the way that I would frame that is that it's taking the attention off of the abuse, off of the act itself of not
Yes.
respecting, of not understanding natural law, and putting
Yes.
all the focus on the abuser, or the many forms that
Yes.
abuse can take in,
Look.
by color and gender and nationality and all these
Yeah.
different ways. Let's just look at the behavior itself and demonize that. It's universal,
Absolutely.
and it
Yes.
doesn't get everyone divided and fighting over who's going to win the
Yes.
victim Olympics.
Yes. Exactly. Exactly. And part of what goes on in the Matrix is that our victimhood gets weaponized. I call it weaponized woundology, where now we're just so offended by this and that. And I know in a lot of camps, in my travels all over the world, and I've been to over 100 countries. So
Wow.
I've seen a lot of different cultures. Most don't speak English, and I've seen what goes on, and it is, I mean, straight up, we all want the same things. We want to provide for our families. We want to be left alone. We want to create. We want to do good. We want to be seen. We want to co-create. We want community. And it's like, to think that, and I don't want to get down on the Western world, because, that in of itself, I don't want to make it about that. But we have these universal threads and these universal wants. And eventually they all get hijacked when we get sucked into the matrix, and we get sucked into the perspective, the perception that whatever media is putting out, the news, and we all know that all these news agencies are all owned by the same fucking people who are running the shit shows, who are the powers that want to be. And so most people who don't know that, I'm just like, wow, okay, please, somebody download these folks so that they know about it. It's so irritating to me, because that for me is basic. But people don't want to believe that, because it would create this bomb that would go off, and life as they know it will not be the same. But guess what? It happened to me. It happened to you. I mean, you start going down these rabbit holes and you realize, oh shit, this is so systemically fucked up. And you can't avoid it, because once you start waking up, you can't go back to sleep. You can try.
Right. Hey guys, hope you're enjoying the episode so far. I just want to take a quick moment to offer you a special gift. It's the free initiation package download. This is a free download package that includes the Toolbox mini course. I created this package to equip you with all of the essential tools you need for any type of energetic or magical practice for anyone serious about their spiritual development. It's comprised of 3 parts: the circle, the breath, and the voice, where you'll learn how to cast the circle of the Magi, various breathwork techniques, including a powerful guided breathwork meditation, rune galler, and more. You'll also get access to the Inner Sanctum, our private Facebook group and Discord server, as well as some Wizard Factory wallpapers for desktop and mobile, all for free. And for those who've already seen this course, I'm happy to announce that this is a brand new remake with better production and even more information. You can find the link to get yours in the description below. So check it out, and let's get back to the content. So you sort of received this download, and well, you learned some from the mentor, and then you got some just intuitively, and then you systematized it.
Yeah.
Did you come up with a name for it?
I call it absolute balanced mastery.
Awesome.
Because it is the balance of the masculine, feminine, being, doing, balancing suffering with pleasure and enjoyment. I mean, pleasure and enjoyment. Oh shit. We can't do that. Well, why the fuck not? I mean, I don't understand, that somehow there's this moral high ground of suffering. That is weaponized woundology right there.
Yeah, I personally think a lot of that comes from Christian ideologies at a very, very deep level. It's not only there, but I think especially here in the West, because that's
Yes.
like the primary like way
Yeah.
that we're brought up and belief system that we're taught. I think that,
Yeah.
that comes from that a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, yeah, don't buy it, kids. Don't buy it. Enjoy yourselves.
Hmm.
Life is meant to be enjoyed.
It's that
We're
same
meant
idea
to.
of like the Matrix is like reality itself, and everything's a lie, and it's kind of like, you need to abstain from it, almost like associating pleasure and enjoyment with indulging in the Matrix, and that
Yes.
and you're somehow like
Yes.
less spiritual by
Yeah. That's
having that human
nonsense.
experience, right?
Yes. Yeah. That's nonsense. The totality of human experience is the full range. All that really dark, ugly shit and all the blissful stuff. That is the totality of
Mm,
human experience
that's a
and
good point
beyond
too.
that.
There's a lot of that denial of the dark side. It's as well. It's usually kind of like one side or another. People get
Yeah.
totally
Yeah.
sucked into that, and they're
Yeah.
like nihilistic and just very dark in that way, or
Yeah.
they're frankly Luciferian, just completely light worshiping and
Yeah.
denying the darkness out there, but
Yeah.
by
Yeah.
extension, the darkness within themselves. So they're
Absolutely.
creating like a schism of their own mind.
Exactly. Exactly. The evil exists within each of us. So, one of the things that was very, very powerful for me to like really understand, because, I was one of those people where I gnashed for 20 years, pedophile, Satanist, blah, I was just going to war with everything. And
Mm.
what happens when you go to war? Like, I mean, we talk about my old channel going down. Well, even before that, I've gotten in trouble. I've gotten audited several times. You just get in the crosshairs of shit and you make trouble for yourself, right?
Hmm.
So what I realize is that, what I have to do is that I have to examine the law of allowing. And the law of allowing is you be yourself and let everybody else be different from you. You may not like them, but you don't put your attention to them. And so for me, I was like, kill all Satanists, kill all that, just all this fucking raging shit.
Hmm.
And I finally got to the point where it's like, oh my God. And this is after my shit got wrecked several times, where, everything that you work for is just like wiped out, and so what I realized is, in order to really, really succeed in not just up leveling your life, but staying conscious, staying awake, and being able to waltz in and out of the matrix, doing your thing and creating a win-win in your layer of the universe, okay? You have to be really good with letting people be exactly as they are, different from you, and that they have every right to exist. And
Hmm.
that includes the Satanists and the powers that want to be. They have every right to
That's
exist.
called freedom, freedom of
It's called
choice.
freedom. Exactly. And I mean, I realized that I was like spouting off all this freedom shit. And look at me. I was just fucking judgy. I was critical. I was in people's faces. I was starting shit, and it's like, and then I wonder why my shit gets wrecked. It's like,
Hmm.
because I have all this energy pushing up, and when I extricated myself from that, and of course this is after losing everything, I realized I had come to this full circle where it's like, oh, wow. It's like intellectually I knew that, but I hadn't quite embodied it. And I needed to lose a lot of my, own personal shit in order to get the lesson.
Mm.
And I tell people that, and people are like, people hate me for saying that, but that's what it is. That is freedom. And if you can get good with that, yeah. You're going to rock it. You're going to rock it on your terms. And is it going to be easy? Not necessarily, but it's going to be easier than going to war with it.
I think it really comes down to having a greater intentionality with your energy, because either way, you know, that's a choice that you have to make at any given moment, how you're going to show up. And like you said yourself, you poured all this energy into a platform that got completely erased, and you're putting all this energy into rah, 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 everything. And then you have to be honest with yourself. Is that energy well spent? Or is there another way? It's not that you give up. It's that you're more intentional, like I said, in how you're expending that energy in a more productive way. And that's like the mature, like, kind of like you're going through that. You're moving along to better ways of being and doing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And one of the things that opened up for me is, you know, after all these years, I met someone and was able to, and I'm going to say this, to rise in love, you know, to actually open to a relationship after nearly a decade. I mean, it's like, what? You know, and that was my own intentionality, was to be able to be good with myself and my own sovereign self on every level, in order to attract someone who could mirror that to me. And so that's been kind of an adventure. That's like, for me, it's like one of the last final frontiers, so to speak. You know, and I'm not saying final, because I feel like for those of us who are on this path, the more creative energy, the more like intentional creativity, the more projects that we want to bring through our physical bodies, what you're doing is you're summoning life force to animate your cells and to bring your projects, your babies forward, and have them materialize in your layer of the universe. And for a long time, I didn't quite understand that. I mean, I know that in the last couple of weeks, supposedly we went over 8 billion people on the planet. So that's 8 billion different layers of the universe. Like you and I right now, we are interfacing our respective layers of the universe together. And with this broadcast, we're going to be interfacing with many, many thousands and thousands and thousands of other layers of the universe, and so on and so forth. This is the community that I want to participate in, that I want to help build, you know, with, you know, just so many, I'm meeting so many amazing young people, and I get to say that, such as yourself, who are doing the great work. And it's painful to do the great work, because every nook and cranny of unconsciousness is going to have to come to light. And each one that comes to light, it just brings you more in alignment with your purpose, with your, you know, your offering, with your love, with your light. And, you know, it's important, because in our respective layers of the universe, there are all these people who are gravitating toward you, people who are gravitating toward me. And then we come together, and there's this synergy, and it just starts sparking. And that is that, you know, that shared light, that shared divinity, and people are hungry for it. They are hungry for this. And so, you know, it's one of the reasons why I just like appreciate visionaries so much, you know, because we've actually been able to unslave our third eye, and receive instruction, receive the inspiration.
Absolutely. It's my belief that it's only truth. Truth is the only thing that can actually unite us, because like you said, there's now over 8 billion people. I hadn't heard that, actually, by the way. That's 8 billion different versions of the truth, you know, that many different perspectives on the same one reality that we live
Yes.
in.
Yes.
And only by unifying our perspective to truth itself and not
Yes.
continuing to fracture and shard off into this moral relativistic
Yes.
hellhole, that's what's causing all the chaos at the end of the day, at the like root level. And only
Yes.
by coming back into that truth and aligning, because like you said, 100 different countries you've been to,
Yeah.
everybody needs the same thing. We all
Yes.
just want
Yes.
love and connection. And again, truth and love are just the masculine and feminine expressions of the same thing. It's
Absolutely.
unity.
Yeah.
So, okay,
I love it.
it's great. It's great.
You totally get it. I love it. Of course you get it. I mean, that's why you are doing what you're doing. And, and you've suffered in some of the doing. And you know what? I'm telling you, it's all going to come back. It's all going to come back to you. And it will, the blossoming of all of it. And I get to watch. I mean, that's one of the things that I'm really delighting in meeting so many young people who are doing the great work is I've gotten to watch people just like bloom, blossom, expand,
Mm.
Share their gifts. And that's part of it. I mean, that's like freaking awesome. That,
Thank you for saying that. And that is the one thing that we should all be doing as
yes.
individuals. That's interesting because it's like when you phrase it that way, it's a universal truth. We should all be giving our gifts back as gifts and
Yes.
expanding and taking in more knowledge, more awareness, and so that would be the universal way of framing that. But yet, as each individual, it's going to show up differently. So I can't say you should be making content, you should be learning guitar or whatever, because that may not be your thing. You should be doing your version of that. So it's the
Absolutely.
universal truth that shows up differently and beautifully unique for each person.
Yeah.
I love that.
And that is like, the cosmos, manifested, materialized. I mean, it's a beautiful thing.
Right. The infinity of the all, right? Just endless layers and fractals of the same thing expressed in different ways. So how is it that you, did you go from that understanding and developing that methodology and then built the Love, Truth, Freedom around that? Or Love, Truth, Beauty, sorry.
So Love, Truth, and Beauty really just came about a few years ago, 4 years ago in Berlin of all places, because I was a little bit stuck there. And just in that place of, what encapsulates what it is that I'm endeavoring to inspire. That we are, like you say, love and truth, the flip sides, the masculine, the feminine, the being, the doing, and the beauty of that, and what we're here to like bring forth within each other and for each other. Like I say, I like to go for the win-win. And so it came out of that, and it really came out of my own evolution of stop focusing in on the ugly. Stop focusing in on the evil and the ain't it awful and the exposing, because I did so much of that. I mean, and there are plenty of people that want to go there. Go there if that's what you're thinking. I mean, go there. I'm not telling people not to do it, but for me, I needed to up level my offering, because at the end of the day, it's not just about deactivating trauma and mind control. It's about being able to wield reality and to mold it, because we're grand creators. That's what we are. We're grand creators here to move formless into form, and we have to learn how to mold reality. So that is like the sort of up leveling of what it is that I'm offering. It's not just the trauma deactivation, the mind control deactivation. It's being able to activate, your creative spark and materializing what you're here to materialize and manifest. And so I just love that. I think it's really it's a culmination of like almost 40 years of my work just put together in a way, and it would not have come together had I just intellectualized it. You can't intellectualize it, because there's so many people where, it's like this instant kind of, they took a weekend workshop and they're instant trauma deactivators. I mean, that scares the shit out of me because there's just so much craziness involved. It's like, no, do your thing, you do you, I'm going to do me, and we're just going to move forward. So it's a really cool thing to witness, and for me to sort of witness my own evolution. And what's happened is that, I used to be like so angry and upset and hard. I mean, it was one of the reasons why I aligned myself so much with Mark Passy, because I related to his frustration. I mean, I just, dude, I get it. Oh my God, I get it. And then at the end of the day, it's like, I don't want to, that hard feminine is not, that's toxic masculinity for me. Okay. So for me to be able to round off and soften those edges and to be a champion for love, for truth, for beauty, coming from a feminine perspective, an integrated feminine perspective, because I've had to work through a lot of my dark, toxic feminine shit, my dark, toxic masculine shit. And, the way I did that is I had to own the fact that because I spent so much time in my masculine of doing, and being out in the world and trying to figure it out, because, I wasn't protected ever by my family. So I had to go out and do that, be the dad, be the mom, reparent myself. I did a lot of really just emasculating, if you will, my own masculine. So coming to terms with my own inner man and going, okay, dude, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry that I've done this to you. And, to be able to come from a place of integration and wholeness within my own self, rather than projecting it out onto men that, oh, you didn't do this and this and this. Now, no, chica, you got to do it for yourself. We all have to do it for ourselves. And we all have to come from a place of the heart space, just that heart space of acknowledgement, acknowledging our path, acknowledging the journey that we've been on, as painful as it's been, acknowledging the betrayals, acknowledging the sort of soul sucking craziness that we have survived and learned to thrive despite, the sort of setbacks, because at the end of the day, it's like, we can't stop. It is just this ongoing creation that's happening. It doesn't stop.
Absolutely. Well said. The journey never stops. Like it's ongoing. It's not like you said at the beginning, once you're awake, it's a light switch and there you are, you get it and you've done the work. It just keeps going.
Yeah.
Well, Marja, it has been an absolute pleasure, and I feel like we could just go on for hours about this. You were just getting into some of the masculine, feminine stuff, which is another very passionate topic of mine. Maybe that would make a good follow-up episode where we get into those topics there. But for the sake of time, we're going to wrap this up. So go ahead and just tell the audience where they can find you and what you're working on currently.
All right, my love. So my website is LoveTruth&Beauty, andbeauty.com. And if you go there, I have some free trainings that you can sign in for. if you opt in. And my YouTube is Love, Truth, and Beauty. And I've got like all these videos on all kinds of stuff, from dealing with narcissists, sociopaths, and psychopaths, to exiting the matrix, to reality creation. I have a new series called Conversations with Men. In fact, I want to invite you to be one of my guests with that series, because you have a lot to say regarding the masculine.
Love to. That sounds
I
wonderful.
would love for you to be part of that. And so we'll talk more about that. And what am I doing? I'm enjoying life right now. I've taken a little bit of a hiatus. I have some programs that are like happening right now that are getting ready to like close out. And I'm working on a series of classes called Spiritual Kung Fu. And so right now I am working out the details of the White Belt series, which is the first module. And we're going to be talking about energy mastery. And this is all do-it-yourself stuff, just distilled to its brass tacks, nothing complicated, because everybody needs to know this, because everybody is this. Energy in the body, divine in the flesh. So that's what I'm up to.
Amazing. Love it. Again, what a great conversation. It was so nice having it. Looking forward to doing it again. My pleasure. Absolutely. So that's all the time we have, everyone. Thanks for watching. If you did get value out of this content, please give the video a like. Again, it helps kind of push it out and let more people see it. And subscribe again if you have not already. And we will see you next time in the next episode. But until then, be empowered, be inspired, and be encouraged.